Hmm. So other than this channel, because I'm pretty sure if anyone see this channel is where I shit post or just post where I feel like there's no editing, there's no a lot of. It's just me basically giving my random thoughts on this channel, and that's basically what I made this for. I also made this, just to better my public speaking because even though even though I passed my public speaking class and I did really well on it, and I was prepared and all the other stuff. I know there's times where I'm going to be on the fly, and I got to give my opinions on the fly and not sound like a total idiot. That's what this channel is for. Uh, I feel like I've been doing well, but other than that, I've been on my other channel, Skino Films. I've been doing some podcasting, and it's called You Know What? Let me just say podcast. Now, it's just me and a couple of friends that's been doing it, but I enjoy doing it because one, a lot of friends that we talk to, like they're interesting people, and I feel like we have interesting conversations, and I feel like a lot of them, wants to have their voice heard. So I said, fuck it, let's do a podcast. Now, I've so far, and one thing I would say is that people actually enjoy doing the podcast, and sometimes I will have two people. It's just me and my boy Wallace, and sometimes I will just have like a slew of people. Like everybody wants to join. Kind of, it varies, but it's just I'm grateful for it either way. I'll probably still do it even if it's just me. But I would say one thing: podcasting is challenging. For one, I have no clout. Obviously, on this, like the fact that I even got 10 subscribers on this channel alone is amazing to me. And I got like 59 on my other one, on Skin Films. But I was actually doing music reviews and I actually have some like film work because I am a film student. I've done film work, which by the way, I probably should tell you. That's another story about when my cousin when I went to New York and like I got to go chat with my cousin. So I probably should talk about that soon. But anyway, this is about podcasting. Podcasting is very challenging. I know people look at podcasting as easy as like you just sit there and you just talk about stuff, but I realize you got to be a very interesting person. Like, first of all, like you really gotta have, like, if you don't have a personality, I advise you not to jump on a podcast. If your personality is that of a brick, or it's just like cardboard box and all that other stuff, it's hard for you. It's hard to, how can I say this? People to like you. Like you, I feel like even if as a radio show or as a podcast, even if it's audio, you got to have something for people to gravitate towards you to go, hey, I like this guy. I want to hear more of his content. Now, my my boy Wallace, I think a lot of like my boy Wallace, most of the people on my podcast, and I'm not going to, most of the people who's been on my podcast and been on my podcast, they have interesting personalities. I think all my friends have interesting personalities. I think some people shines more. Like Xavier, um, he very sometimes when he's like really strong about an opinion or something like that, it really shows, and he's gonna speak his truth whether you like it or not. That's a very strong personality to have. That's why I like when most of my things, when most of the times I'm promoting my podcast on my Instagram, it's like sometimes I use him. Sometimes I use Wallace, and I use myself sometimes too. But other than that, I've usually used them because they have interesting personalities that you can like gravitate towards, and you like, oh man, I really want to watch this. That's one thing. You really, really, really got to have a personality. Two, you really got to know what the fuck you're talking about. Now, now I would say this. Now, when I say you really gotta know what the fuck you're talking about, because I know there's a lot of people that have podcasts or shows, and they don't know shit what the fuck they're talking about, like Twitch and Twitch thoughts. Like I've I watch It's a Gundam, and even though I know it kills him, but he be talking about Twitch dots and all that other stuff, and like he makes content basically off of gaming, and sometimes like I know the people like him for other stuff, but I think people, in my opinion, people mostly like him because he gets on Twitch dots and he starts ramming on Twitch dots. Like, but he also has a personality. And he's funny, and I feel like if you don't have none of that, like people are not gonna like some of my favorite podcasters right now. Brilliant Idiots, Joe Budden podcast. Like them dudes be clowning. Those dudes are funny, and like sometimes they're very insightful, and some of them they be having rants. I do feel I'm not saying we're on that level of brilliant idiots, but I do feel like we have something. And every time I do one, some people, and like I've had people that I've never met. It was one dude I've never met, but he wanted to jump on the podcast, and I said sure. This is like because everybody has a conversation. I want to make sure everyone gets there, and that's another reason why I started that podcast because I want to make sure everyone has a voice, even when some people feel like they don't have voices, like. Jump on my podcast. Say what you gotta say. He's like, I'll give you a voice. They do that, and it's like, oh wow, and like you can tell, like they feel so much better after you've done. So I was never in it for the bread because first off, podcasting, unless you're really good, does not make money. And anybody will tell you this. It does not make money unless you like already have some clout or you just starting out because Brilliant Idiots didn't start out with like ads and all the other stuff. Like they had to work for that stuff. I know Joe Budden podcast, he made his content. It took him a while for even like fuck with Spotify. He was always independent. It was his own content, but it's a very challenging thing. And one thing is, some people come and some people go. Now, thankfully, some of the people that I work with, they haven't left. They've given me. We have arguments. Like I have arguments. I had debates, and I've had like sometimes we're just clowning. Like we'll get on a topic and we'll ramble. I know people. Some people don't like it when I get off topic, but I think some of the best content is when you go off topic and you start rambling about random stuff. Now, as a moderator, because I moderate my own stuff, I do got to get them back on get them back on topic. I can speak. I have to get them back on topic, and I do that. But sometimes when we're just like in a good conversation, I'm gonna just talk. We just talking. Just like talking like regular niggas. And that's when I feel like that's when the best natural feeling comes out of it. And they see it too. Now, what else there was something else. I know I was thinking pot. See, this is why. What do I see with this pot? Okay. I need to write stuff down. What do I see in the future of this podcast? I hope I can still doing this podcast. Like I said, if it's just me, I will still do it. Because I feel like, even for me, it's kind of like therapy. I get to voice my own opinions. And now, I'm not one to run away from a good debate. Especially if I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I will not run from a good debate. I will argue. I'm stubborn as fuck. Like... One of the episodes, and I probably should put that in the description. This is when Civil War was out, not Endgame, but Infinity War. Excuse me. And this was the same time when Kanye was talking about slavery was a choice and all that other stuff. And we got into this big debate. It was not really about Kanye. It was more or less about Killmonger's quote because I put on Facebook that said, because this is when Kanye was saying slavery was a choice, and everybody was like reaming Kanye for saying that. And I said, for those of you that are mad that Kanye said slavery is a choice, are the same people that quoted Killmonger's "bury me in the ocean," "bury me in the ocean with my ancestors" quote. And like y'all the same people that is like, and yes, I do believe slavery is a choice. And if you want to know why, and I'll make sure I'll do it this time. I will put I will put it in the description box on this, and y'all can watch that one. It's one of my favorite ones because a it was like it was on the fly because I wasn't really going to talk about that, and my friend was like, "Oh, let's talk about it." Now, if you're wondering, now, forewarning, if you're wondering if why I was like, do we need more time? During that time, in that because I was in I had to bring the equipment in by a certain time. So if I didn't bring it in by a certain time, then I think I was going to get a fee for it, which I never did. But I had to, put stuff up and get them back because I was renting out equipment. The equipment wasn't mine. Now I have my own equipment to do it, and I could just do it on my time. So I knew I was going to have that conversation. I just didn't know when, and I didn't know where. But I knew I was going to have that conversation with that individual. I just didn't know where, and I didn't know I was going to do it on the podcast. So I think it was good content. And my man Wallace was like, "You should split this into two parts." And I was like, "Yeah, you know what? You're right." And that's what I did. So, like, one half of it, we was talking about Infinity War. The other half, we was talking about slavery was a choice and all that other stuff. And I felt like I held my own. Now, like I said, I suck at explaining shit, but at the same time, like, I had to, and this is just me, I had to, before I even, like, come to the fact of saying that slavery is a choice, I had to look up a lot of information. Like, I had to read. I had to, like, the thing about Kanye, when I told people I'm mad that Kanye said it, because Kanye said I'm a profile reader of not reading books, as in he doesn't read books. That means anybody could feed you information and you could say it. And I didn't, that's why I didn't like him saying it, because for something like saying slavery is a choice, and if you feel that way, you should really look up your history, and you should really look up your history and know what's happened. So that's why I was against Kanye saying it. But as far as slavery is a choice, yes, I do agree slavery is a choice. But like I said, I've already had that talk. I might now. I know I'm a sooner or later I'm gonna have these talks more and more often. So I got to get ready for that. But anyway, back to the podcast. In conclusion, if you really want to do a podcast, have a personality, have things to talk about, be funny, be incisive, be interesting, be all of the above. Hell, I mean, if you, because hell, even if because even if you may not know everything, if you could have some type of insight on it that people don't think about, people will enjoy it. So that's all I gotta say. Let me know what y'all think. And if anybody like have podcasts, like, let me know how do y'all feel about podcasting, because I do enjoy it and I'm gonna keep doing it. So till then, my name is Oskino Fly and I'm out. Peace.